Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to this week's episode of the TYB podcast. I'm your host, Ryan Galloway, with my beautiful co-host, Will Glover, wearing that sexy Blues jersey. And I already broke my rule where I said I wasn't going to mention the jersey, so my bad. But regardless, we are here, special Wednesday, coming out Thursday edition, because I was occupied yesterday evening, taking children trick-or-treating, and so happy Halloween to everyone. Late, but better late than never. And, well, we're feeling good. It's November 1st, November 2nd when this comes out, and it is officially the holiday season. Mariah Carey's back in stores, and so that's something. And we're here. Sports isn't going anywhere. Sports is getting really good. Football's ramping up. Football's already been ramping up. We're getting into the good stuff. Basketball's underway now, really exciting. World Series is going on. Not much of a competition there, to be honest with you, but you know what? It's still fun. We got 4 major sports going at the same time. Not mad about that.
Yeah, the sports equinox happened yesterday, I believe, October 31st. That was huge. Ryan, that was a hell of an intro. I appreciate the effort. I know we're both under the weather. So we'll see how this episode fares. It sounds like the construction stopped over at your place, I hope. And if it hasn't, you did a lot better on the sound. So I appreciate the effort.
Yeah, we're hoping for the best. Just a quick disclaimer, you may never see this episode because there is some pretty intense construction going on outside of my apartment. And I don't know if you could hear that or not, but they're working hard, and I'm proud of them.
You are not proud of them. I know that. We are not proud of them. No. But anyways, yeah, you broke the rule. No talking about the jerseys because we're not really refreshed on hockey yet, which is our fault completely. Because I do want to talk about hockey. I want to talk about the Blues and maybe the Bruins. Ryan's got his Bruins jersey on. I kind of wish.
Yeah, it's too.
Yeah, I kind of wish there was a size larger for mine because it's kind of getting up on around the wrist. But it was the only one available that was authentic under $100. You don't get deals like that, so I had to take it. Anyways,
fair enough.
Let's move on into what we're supposed to be talking about, and we'll start with football. The top 25 came out, but not the AP. The college football playoff top 25 came out, which means a lot of big movers, a lot of surprises, and a lot of expectations were met, really. First, I want to start off with the most obvious, the most obvious surprise, which was Ohio State at 1. Ryan, what are your thoughts on Ohio State being considered the best team in the country?
So, I was surprised by it. I think it was the wrong move. I'm not saying they're not worthy per se. I think they're definitely a top 5 team in the nation. But to put them at number 1 is interesting because it's safe for them to put Georgia at 1. If they put Georgia at 1, people are going to say some stuff, but there's probably not going to be a lot of protest because it's difficult to argue. But I feel like if you were going to drop Georgia, there's so many other teams worthy of the number 1 spot, and Ohio State is definitely not the most worthy of that. I would argue that Michigan would probably be the most worthy of the number 1 spot, but I understand them putting them at 3 instead because who knows? We could wake up any morning this week or next week or the week after and they're bowl ineligible because of the investigation that's about to be undergoing, I think.
Yeah, I completely forgot about that.
But it's interesting. I don't agree with it, but I guess we'll have to wait and see what happens. It'll be very interesting going into the game in a few weeks.
Yeah, for sure. And the Football Power Index has Ohio State at number 1 strength of record, which, yeah, they have 2 top 10 wins, but Notre Dame, and you can argue Notre Dame was not deserving of that top 10 rank, and Penn State's decent. I'll give them that. But yeah, I mean, it's just it was out of the blue for me. I thought Ohio State would be sitting 4 or 5. This also leaves issues for teams like Washington and Oregon and Texas for future for a future chance at the top 4 for the playoff. Ryan, what do you think happens moving from here? Because if Ohio State ends up losing against Michigan, which I believe they will, they're still going to be top 4. So who gets bounced and who replaces Florida State, which I don't think will win out, or maybe even Georgia? Who knows?
Well, it'll be interesting because if Ohio State, if they lose, they will not be in the top 4. I don't think, because if they lose to Michigan, they're not going to go to the Big Ten championship.
Yeah, it's true, but it's happened
And I
before.
think that is a big factor.
It has happened. We've seen that.
That's true.
But I mean, to be fair, there are a lot more undefeated teams at this time than there were last year or the year before.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, I'm looking at 5 in front of me, and of course you have like James Madison, which surprisingly, fun fact, James Madison is 9th on strength of record, believe it or not. So maybe James Madison should get a shot. That's just my opinion. But anyways, let's get back on track. Sorry, James Madison. It's not relevant. But yeah, I mean, it would be pretty hard to leave a 1-loss Texas or a 1-loss Oregon out of the playoffs, or even a 1-loss Bama. I mean, shoot, imagine if Alabama wins out and beats Georgia in the SEC championship game. Let me give you this. Does Georgia get knocked out if Alabama ends up beating them in the SEC championship game?
I think so. With that loss and then the comparison of strength of schedule, I think that's enough to keep Georgia out, because we've been low on Georgia all year, and now this proves that the committee is low on Georgia as well, and rightfully so. So I think that all those things factor in. I think that might be enough to keep them out. Might be. I think that really depends on what the rest of the top 10 is doing, and if Texas is 12-1?
Yeah, 12-1, 12-1.
Yeah, 12-1. If Texas is 12-1, if Washington wins out, if Oregon is 12-1, there's a lot of things that would factor that would have to happen to keep Georgia out. But depending on how everything plays out, it is very conceivable to see Georgia lose to Alabama in the SEC championship and be in.
That would definitely be a sight to see. Georgia has their first test of the year, first official one, because Missouri is a hell of a team. And so Missouri has to play in Athens, 2:30 on CBS, prime time for college football. I have Missouri. I genuinely am so high on Missouri. I know Carson Beck is doing a lot better, but Missouri just makes me feel good. It's a feel good team for me. Brady Cook is good. Ryan, what are your thoughts on Georgia's first challenge, really?
It's interesting. It's very interesting. I don't know if Missouri quite has enough to get it done. Of course, Brock Bowers is out, so if you're gonna beat them, now's the time. I'm not sold on Beck, as I've said every week this season. Brady Cook is good. I'm blanking on his name. Their wide receiver, Luther something.
Oh yeah,
he's excellent as well. He's gonna be one of the top wide receivers in the draft next year.
Yeah.
There's a lot to like about the Missouri squad. Where's this game?
It's in Athens, but Georgia's a 15-point favorite, which I think is way too high.
I think that's high.
I think it's at least going to be a 3-point game.
Yeah, and you look at the way that Georgia's been winning. They're not winning against these SEC teams in blowout fashion.
Except Kentucky. But Kentucky sucks.
Except Kentucky.
Kentucky's bad. Sorry. Not sorry, really.
Kentucky was very overrated.
Yeah, so we'll see. That'll be a really good game to watch. 2:30 under the lights. Not really. It's going to be sunny out. But another big game, because I don't want to stay on Georgia forever. And this game, Ryan, is who makes it to the Big 12 championship? Who plays Texas in the Big 12 championship? As long as Texas wins out, of course. And that is OU and OSU. Both teams are 1 loss in the Big 12. And obviously, the winner will hold the tiebreaker over a 2-loss runner-up in the Big 12. So, Ryan, Do you think OU? This is Oklahoma State's last ever game against OU at their home stadium. I think it's a loss. I don't think OU stands a chance.
It'll be interesting. Oklahoma State will be more motivated than they've ever been. And no matter how bad they are, they always get up for Bedlam. So it'll be very interesting. Oklahoma's offense has gone cold at a time when they can't afford it to be cold. So I think that is a big headline to watch in this game. That offense hasn't been what we've seen from them earlier in the year. I don't know what the issue is, but there's something missing. The defense is legit. I think that's what they're going to rely on. So for now, I'm going to say give me Oklahoma in a close one.
All right. That's a bold take, honestly. And OU's favored by 5.5, but I think these lines are off. I think, excuse me, so sorry. I think a lot of money is going to be made this week on underdogs, really. But I do like your I like your points. You make great points, as you always do. So
thank you.
And then obviously LSU and Alabama play. I don't think LSU is deserving of 14th rank. I'm just going to skip over that one because I think Alabama wins that, which will be a really good win for them. And it'll look better for Texas as well. So that might help Texas in the future. Yeah. Lastly, number 5, Washington plays number 20, USC. At USC, Caleb Williams, I'm not sure what his motivation is to do anything at this point. But do you see a USC victory here? Washington's favored by 3 only, so this is a close one. Ryan, what are your thoughts?
I'm going to go on a limb, and maybe this is a hot take. I think Washington wins by double digits.
Really?
Because I believe in Washington. They've had a bad couple weeks, but they still find a way to win. I think that they're going to play to the level that we've seen them be able to play at, especially against Oregon. So I think they're going to show up big. Caleb Williams is doing his weird reverse tank right now, I guess. Yeah. He's fighting back, and good for him. And the USC defense is the worst defense I may have ever seen in my life. It is a tragedy that Alex Grinch is still employed. I don't know what he has on Lincoln Riley, but it's got to be something crazy. It's got to be some Polaroids or something, because I don't get it.
Yeah.
You want to compete, you want to win, you want to be in the national championship picture. You got to at least have a decent defense, right?
Yeah, and I mean,
and you're telling me you're USC, you have Caleb Williams, you have Lincoln Riley. You can't recruit good defensive players?
I don't think it's a recruiting problem.
So you have to have the talent. You have to have the talent.
Yeah.
So why is Alex Grinch still employed? I don't get it. I don't get it, but I like Washington big in this one.
All right. I mean, Washington's offense has shown that they can put up a lot of points. Not recently. Well, they did score 42 on Stanford. So Stanford and USC are probably in the same level of defense. So there you go. But will Washington be able to stop USC's offense is another question. Pac-12 as of late has been the Big 12 historically. If you think about it, tons of shootouts, what we like watching. We don't like watching 15 to 10 games. We don't. So I like that. And you could say this would be their better win, even over Oregon, saying this is away at the Coliseum. But, we'll see. This is big. So yeah, I think that's pretty good. And then lastly, Kansas State and Texas. Kansas State's ranked 23. I mean, Kansas State's a good team, but and Quinn Ewers is still questionable. And I think he might come in if Malik makes some really bad choices early on. Because, I mean, obviously every game is a must-win, but this is Texas's must-win because the next games aren't as challenging as this one is. So,
yeah, I would say that this is Texas' last test of the season, especially since they don't have to go to Lubbock. It's always tough for Texas to play in Ames. I'm not too worried about Iowa State this year. But K-State's good. They're a pretty solid team. I know everybody was down on them after their 2 losses early on, but they've really turned things around. They're playing their best football of the season right now. at a time when they need to again. Um, and so I think that their quarterback play will be very interesting. I know they have Will Howard and they have I forget his name, but he's a scrambler. They've been running the ball through him a lot, and Texas has had trouble stopping the quarterback run all year. So I'm not too worried about Texas defense in this one. I am very curious what happens with Malik. Obviously, last week was his first ever game. He played decent, pretty careless with the ball, made some rookie mistakes, some freshman mistakes. But we'll probably see maybe a little bit more confident, maybe a little bit more sure of himself, Malik, in this game. But yeah, wouldn't be surprised if we saw Quinn if things started getting dicey.
Yeah, I think that's a good take. I like what you said about their defense. They've allowed 3 points in their last 8 quarters. I mean, that's nuts. Their 2 losses were against Missouri, who's now ranked 12, and Oklahoma State, who's 23, I think. So, I mean, and they're both close losses. I mean, Kansas State has every right to be considered one of the better teams in the country. I just think Texas is... Oh, I still think a healthy Texas team is the best team in the nation. I think OU just had their Super Bowl against Texas this year. Texas is not going to lose again to them if they face off in the championship game. So, but yeah, Texas needs to play this like it's their title game, because it might very well be if they don't win. So it's all or nothing. And then lastly, Ohio State and Rutgers. It's in Rutgers, and Ohio State is known to throw games against Rutgers. 18.5 favorites. I like Rutgers, honestly. I'm going to take Rutgers here. And if I was a betting man, I would totally bet
to win or to cover?
Win. Rutgers, ladies and gentlemen, hot take, the hottest take we've ever had on this podcast. Will Glover on November 1st at 4:20, ironically enough, says Rutgers will upset the number 1 team in the nation, the Ohio State Buckeyes. And it's going to be a 10-point upset. It might not even be close, and just 10 points just makes it look closer. Rutgers' rushing game is so much better than Ohio State's. And I don't know. Give me Rutgers. Thoughts? Brian's not a fan of that one, guys. If you're listening,
I think that you could. I think that you could make the argument that Rutgers covers the spread, but Ohio State's gonna win. I hate to burst your bubble.
That's fine. So, it's just my hot take. Rutgers' passing game is not good, but their rushing game is elite. You can argue. They got a lot of weapons on the ground. Ohio State's gonna come into this game.
Okay.
Ohio State's going to come into this game. They're like, listen, we're now the number 1. We're the big dogs out here. We got this. Rutgers is nothing. Let's just focus on next week type thing. Let's focus on Michigan.
Okay.
They better watch out.
Okay, yeah. I don't hate it. Let's see what happens.
They better watch out.
I wouldn't be surprised if you were wrong, but you never know. That's why you play the game.
Yep. Especially this year. Anything can happen this year, right? So... Yeah. Anything can happen this year. And Josh McDaniels has shown us that. Ryan, kind of map this one out for us. What the hell happened in Las Vegas?
Well, you have Josh McDaniels, who was the offensive coordinator for the greatest player of all time and some of the more talented offenses of the 21st century. And then, he goes to Denver and kind of makes a mess of that, and then goes back to New England and, has some growth. He's a little bit older, a little bit wiser, a couple more Super Bowls under his belt. And then, the whole Colts thing for like a little bit, but that was weird. McDaniels is a terrible head coach. I don't even know if he's necessarily that great as an offensive coordinator. I think it's easier. Well, actually, no, he's a decent offensive coordinator. We've seen that you can't just be a coordinator for Bill Belichick and everything is okay. Looking at you, Matt Patricia. but he's not a good head coach. I don't know what he's doing. Like his offensive schemes don't look good. Jimmy Garoppolo isn't a bad quarterback. You have Josh Jacobs, you have Devontae Adams. You should be able to be okay with that. You have some weapons and you have a pretty decent game manager. That's all coaching.
Yeah.
And so yeah, he got fired and they're going to be paying him for the next 4 years, so he's in a pretty good spot. I think it was funny that what's the Raiders owner's name? Mark Davis?
Yes, yeah. Funny looking guy.
Yeah. He got fired while he was dressed up as him for Halloween. And I think that's
Are you
awesome.
serious? I didn't even know that.
Yeah, I saw on Twitter that he was dressed as him in the office for Halloween. That made me happy. I like that.
All right, so I got to make a note of that. Ladies and gentlemen, you will be looking on the screen right now at Josh McDaniels dressed up as his owner, as his boss, why he gets fired. I think that is really awesome, honestly. Sucks to suck. Not my problem.
Yeah. So, and I feel terrible and also as a Devontae Adams fantasy owner, if you were gonna fire your coach and your GM, trade him away. Do the right thing. Get some draft picks. It's a good move for you. Do right by him. Do right by one of your players who tried his hardest.
Yeah, I mean, it's just ridiculous. I mean, you saw he was open for 2 touchdown passes. I mean, what even goes through was it intentionally to not throw to Adams? I don't understand. I forgot who was QB this because Garoppolo was out. So, or was he out? I didn't watch the Raiders. I'm sorry.
No,
he wasn't.
He got benched. He's benched.
He was
this week,
benched.
but,
That's right. I thought he was injured. Which, sorry, I don't watch Raiders football as much because why would you?
It's
But
yeah, he was benched for Aiden O'Connell.
Okay, yikes. So, I mean, it had to have been a hit job, right? And I mean, it really started off with getting Adams to play with Carr, who are their best friends. And Adams was like, all right, let's go. If I remember right, he had a no trade clause with Green Bay and he waived it. And we go play with Carr. And then the Raiders immediately shaft him and signed Jimmy G, which not a bad signing, but you just traded for a wide receiver who waived his NTC to play with his best friend, then you got rid of his best friend. I mean, right there, that's really where the downfall started. And it's only gotten worse from there.
They have done wrong by him since he got there.
Horrible management. I mean, and then they signed Renfro to an extension. That was terrible. They signed Carr to an extension, then got rid of him. That was bad. That's a waste of money. I mean, it's just, and then signing Chandler Jones. I mean, just bad choice after bad choice. Miserable management. And so I don't feel bad for them at all. They deserved to suffer. And so Raiders fans, boycott the games. Don't show up. Make them pay. That's all I got on that topic. So, anyways, Raiders moment. Ryan, how about those Patriots?
We played decent in the loss to the Dolphins. Not as mad about it. Kendrick Bourne, torn ACL, done for the year. Terrible. Really sad. Juju got his first touchdown as a Patriot.
About the only bright spot.
Yeah. About the only bright spot. No moves at the deadline. So we're in the middle again, not buying or selling. And if we were gonna sell, trade away Uche, trade away Duggar, we didn't. We didn't make any moves. We didn't send anyone away. So they better be giving them some money at the end of the season. They better be re-signing those guys because they're young, they're good, and if you're not going to trade them away, you better not be letting them walk.
Yeah.
Come spring.
It's true.
I will be very upset if they walk come spring.
Well, we will revisit that one in the spring. They play the Commanders this week in Foxborough, so it could be a win. Y'all might get 3 wins, but
Could be a win. Sweat and Young are gone, so
yeah,
theoretically, Mac Jones should have some time in the pocket, which he's actually a pretty decent quarterback when he has time in the pocket. And so, yeah, we'll see what happens. He has even less weapons now. Pop Douglas is going to take on a bigger role, which I'm excited about. Hate that Bourne had to go down for that to happen, but I think that is the silver lining in all this, is that Douglas is going to get more snaps and more targets.
which will be good because he's a good receiver.
Yes.
And I picked him up in fantasy, as you saw.
Oh, there you go.
So I am familiar with their game. But speaking of Sweat getting moved, I mean, Raiders. I'm sorry, I got that on my head. Commanders won the deadline, really. They got rid of players whose contracts are expiring, and they got picks for them. And the Bears took the bait. Why? I don't. What is Chicago thinking?
Because they're the Bears.
That's another absolute disaster class of an organization. Makes no sense why they would do that. But at least they took him out of a competitive race, really. So he's not going to be playing for a postseason. He's not going to haunt some people. He's just going to go from one bad team to another. So, I mean, not my problem, really. Niners again, losing.
Oh my God.
What happened? I mean, how do we even explain this? They go 5-0 and then lose their next 3. Luckily, they have a bye week this week. But
well, luckily they have a bye week, and luckily they have Chase Young.
Yeah.
And we saw what Young and Bosa can do together back in college. I think it comes down to Brock Purdy. I've never been all in on Brock Purdy.
You're absolutely right.
And, you know, I feel like, I don't know, I don't want to say that last year was a fluke because he's shown that he's competent. But at the same time, I don't think you win a Super Bowl with Brock Purdy. Of course, now maybe that defense is even better, and that's all you need. But the Niners, they should be the title favorites. They should be scary, but they're inexplicably losing.
Yeah. It comes down to Purdy, and the Niners did Jimmy G so wrong. He should have had if Jimmy G had the reins over there, I think they're 7-1. Genuinely. But
yeah,
Jimmy G's never been given a fair shot anywhere he's gone. Obviously benched again this week. But yeah, Niners lucked out. Their bye week came at a perfect time. Not a perfect time for CMC owners, because now they got to go figure out who they're going to pick up. But go pick up Darrell Henderson, guys. He's going to go off this week. Trust me. Rams suck, but they're playing a worse Packers team. So Darrell Henderson is the clear choice because it's going to be 20 degrees up there, and running the ball is going to be the only option they have. So go Rams. Go get a win. I really don't have anything else. Ryan, do you have anything else in football you really saw? It was a pretty lackluster week. There wasn't really anyone that stood out to me. If you have anything.
Broncos beat the Chiefs, right?
Yeah, that was just a really bad.
That was kind of fun.
If that's your worst
weird
game for the season for the Chiefs, then I'm okay with that. I would be okay with that.
No, I mean, I feel like these amazing teams, you always have one weird loss somewhere in there that doesn't matter. So I think that's what that is.
Yeah, I mean, the Lions look good again. I'll give them that. Shook off that tough loss a few games ago. Gibbs finally lived up to what he was supposed to be. So there's that.
Well, Dan Campbell finally realized, if you get your running back, if you get your really talented running back touches, he's gonna produce for you.
Yeah, I mean that's the best running back core in the country in the league. Once Montgomery gets healthy again, of course, him and Gibbs, that's unstoppable. So, but yeah, Lions. I liked your take from a few weeks ago. saying the Lions are title favorites. I agree still. Yeah, they had that really bad loss, but like you said, everyone has a bad loss. And their bad loss was against a really decent team.
Mhm.
So yeah. I got nothing else in NFL. Like I said, I thought it was a pretty boring week to watch. Sorry. I have no words for this week, but I do have some words about the NBA, which is what I really wanted to talk about. And Ryan knows it's coming. And the league knows it's coming. And Wembanyama's here, all right? And what, right? Anyways, ignore Ryan. Ignore Ryan.
Go on.
Wembanyama, ladies and gentlemen, is here. He is glorious. Spurs need to start Trey Jones and sit Jeremy Sohan. That's a different story. But last night might have been the most fun game to watch as a Spurs fan in a long time. Down 20 plus, third quarter, come back. I mean, I don't care if Beal and Booker are out. That's a good win for a young team. So, Ryan, do you have any thoughts on the Spurs? I know you want to talk about the Celtics, which we'll get to in a sec.
It was a fun game to watch. I'll give you that. Wemby's good. He definitely seems like more of a second half kind of guy so far into the year, but he needs to learn how to set a pick.
Yeah.
But he's young. He's adjusting, and he'll be okay. But the only thing I really have to say about the game was, yeah, it was fun. The Spurs hung in there, and so that's cool to see from a really young team. Um, Adam Silver's his whole load management fight is looking to be a losing one, because this is like what the every primetime game this year, there's been a star
Yep.
out. It's ridiculous. And yeah,
I mean,
Devin Vassell is good.
he is good. And going back to the primetime sitting of stars, I didn't know how you were going to address that in the first place, because you can just tell a doctor to make up some BS excuse like he's got a sprained ankle and can't play or something like that. You could completely lie. I feel like you'd have to go to a third-party doctor to really or a doctor employed by the NBA rather than by individual teams. I think that's the route you have to take in order to stop this. Because, yeah, D-Book
Well,
is completely fine and just took a rest. And it was on national TV. So,
mhm. That's not how you stop it. The only way you can stop it is by shortening the season, making more games required to qualify for All NBA.
which they did.
Um, yeah, which is good. That's a step in the right direction. Um, but yeah, shorten the season a little bit. Get rid of back-to-backs.
I
And I think that's where a lot of your issues are going to go away.
I don't like that, simply because this was not a problem in the 90s. This was not a problem in the 80s, missing games. It wasn't a problem in
It's
the
never been a
the
problem.
2000s. This is something that this new age of basketball players has created, and it really started with Damian Lillard sitting out all those years ago, close to the playoffs. He was just sitting out just because. I mean, and when you were saying, giving your reasons or giving your suggestions on how to stop it, I came up with one, and that's just don't pay them. Start paying per game basis. Start making these salaries.
No PTO.
Yeah, pretty much. Except no PTO. I mean, pay them per game. These guys are making millions of dollars a game anyway. Some of them, LeBron. I mean, you take that away, that shoot, your money's just getting cut in half. Now, if you have a legitimate injury, then it should be, okay, we're going to guarantee this because it was unavoidable. But, I mean, it's tough.
Well, and to be fair, you mentioned that it's an issue that we haven't seen until recently, relatively recently. But I also think that is a direct result of the different world we live in, where all these players as kids are playing AAU. They're playing every night their entire lives. Starting at a very young age, there's already so much more wear and tear on their body, and that's why you're seeing a lot of this come up. This is the only reason I could think of.
I mean, that's fair. That's a really good reason. I know, Dad, you're gonna have to wait. I know that
I'll wait.
okay. I don't like it when you do that. I love it. And so anyways, sorry I got out of character, or I got back in character. But yeah, I mean, playing travel ball and baseball growing up, I would play every week for a whole year straight. I understand they're just wearing down faster. But we also have advanced technology and advanced medical treatments. I mean, look at LeBron. Think about how long he's playing. He doesn't wear down. I mean, he started to. Apparently, he was playing on a broken foot last year. But, I mean, LeBron's still going strong at 39. So I don't know why these players can't just take a little more care of their bodies. And, I mean, they're getting paid millions on millions of dollars. The least they could do is try. So that's just my opinion, but I do like where you're coming from. I completely agree. It's good. I want to talk about the Boston Celtics. Actually, I'm kind of just jumping into it. We don't have our A games today. We apologize from us. I want to talk about Jaylen Brown, really, who's exceeded my expectations on the year. He looks really good, and that really hurts me to say sometimes, but he's a good guy, so I'm not too mad about it. So, Ryan, go ahead. Go ahead and start glazing.
Well, game one was a tough look. Game one, that contract didn't look great, but he's turned it around. He looks really good. This entire Celtics team looks fantastic. I mean, Tatum, Brown, Kristaps, Derek White.
Drew Holiday.
Everybody looks great. Drew Holiday. It's a fantastic team. I don't know why anyone thought that the Bucks were better than this team. They're not.
No one's better than this team.
We'll see what happens come playoffs, as always. Fingers crossed. I'm ready to get hurt again. But Celtics look amazing. I don't know if this is the year that Tatum, breaks through that MVP ceiling. But we'll see what happens. My only concern about this team is, and this is more so a thing for Jaylen Brown than Jason Tatum, because Jason Tatum is the clear-cut star of this team, but Jaylen Brown needs to be better off ball. He needs to cut better. He needs, he's just standing in the corner waiting for his shot that is now going to Porzingis. So I would love to see a little bit more proactiveness off the ball. Because Tatum and Brown, I feel like they're both guys that play best when they get to create their own shots. And so Tatum can keep doing that, obviously, but Brown really needs to evolve his game a little bit more, which I think he is. I think he looks really good, and I think he knows that he needs to get a little bit better off ball. And so he'll adjust. But this team is fantastic. And I think that a big thing that has helped is the amazing coaching staff that they have.
Yeah, and I mean, it's so spaced. Their offense is so spaced. They have open look every single time they're going down the court. And I mean, the fact that your 7-2 center is shooting almost 50% from the 3-point line already, I mean, it's just unfair. There's literally no way you can defend this team. And the fact that the Bucks, not only did the Celtics get Porzingis, which I already thought was overkill, the Bucks were dumb enough to give up Drew Holiday, who is an elite guard and is now a fifth option on a Celtics team, which is just insane. I mean, if anyone thought that the Celtics were not the best team, and they're just smoking crack, honestly. I mean, this team is by far.
I'm waiting years to hear you say this.
Yeah, I know, it hurts. This team is by far the best team in basketball, and it's one of the best teams, in my opinion, since the 2018 Golden State Warriors. It just in terms of star power and the way they play together. I mean, it really sucks. And I hope Jimmy Butler figures it out. Jimmy Butler's our only hope at this point. But right now, they're the clear-cut title favorites. Go bet on them now, while their odds are a little lower. I mean, and just looking at these stats, Jaylen Brown shooting 46% from three-pointer. The team as a whole shooting 37%. I mean, it's just unfair. They're efficient. They're good on defense. There's literally nothing you can do about it. The only team that has a chance against them is any team with Nikola Jokic on it and the Phoenix Suns at this point. Because, quite frankly, the team I thought was going to be best this year has looked really bad. I know it's a week in, 2 weeks in, but the Los Angeles Lakers are not gelling like I thought they would. Do you have any, I'm not sure if you've seen Lakers games. I know they've been on national TV already like 3 times. So
Yeah, I've watched him a little bit. I really think it boils down to Anthony Davis. He's not the player that they need him to be. They need him to be a superstar, and he is not rising to the occasion. And LeBron is 40. LeBron can't single-handedly lead a team to the finals anymore. And so I think that's what they're running into.
yeah, I mean, 80, 80 should be averaging 30, 32 a game. And he's averaging 25. I mean, that's still good, and LeBron's not playing many minutes, which LeBron says he's good to go. Let him go. I still think LeBron should always be the number one option on any team, no matter what age he is. But LeBron's averaging career lows, 22 points per game right now. 9 and 7. That's on par. But they don't look good defensively. They need Vanderbilt. I'm sorry, not Vanderbilt. They need Hachimura to step up. Is Vanderbilt even? I haven't even seen him play. Christian Wood sucks. He needs to figure it out. Did you see that 1-3 he took last night?
No,
it was
I
off
didn't.
I'll play it right now. I'll make a note of it. It was off a screen, and missed the hoop about 4 feet to the left. It was a shot that I would take if I came off a contested screen like that. Absolutely
All right, put it up on the screen right now.
done.
Oh, wow. Jared Vanderbilt, or Christian Wood, that is embarrassing for you. I'm watching it in real time with everyone right now. All right, that was good.
Are you mocking me?
No, I'm not.
All right.
No.
Oh, he's still injured. So I guess when Vanderbilt comes back, that team will look a lot better.
That'll help a lot. They're missing him badly, but I think they'll be okay. I don't think that they're serious contenders as of now. Of course, we'll have to see what happens later on in the year. But we've only had, what, a week, 2 weeks of the NBA?
Yeah.
So we have nothing much to go off of, so we have to overreact because we're media.
Yeah, exactly. And Austin Reeves also looks horrible this year. He's shooting like 30% from both 3 and
But
the
he
field.
sucks.
Hey.
He had his Linsanity year, and now
He got
he's
paid. I guess that's all that matters to him.
done. Yeah, good for him. Good for him.
So yeah, we'll see. I would still love a Lakers Celtics finals, personally, with a 39-year-old LeBron
too.
James. I mean, the narrative's crazy,
Yeah.
but we'll have to see if the NBA can cook. We need the NBA to step in. They already stepped in with the Spurs in the draft lottery with Wemby, so we need them to continue their narrative, which is a Lakers. But the issue is, Ryan, if it's a Lakers Celtics finals, you know some crazy BS is going to happen, and the Lakers are going to end up winning that.
LeBron needs another one,
He
doesn't he?
does. And so
The fix is in.
Adam Silver
fix is in.
is going to be doing his darndest.
Silver's going to make the call.
Yep. If not Silver, Vegas will. One of the two. One's got to give.
Yeah.
So
Game 7, Tatum fouls out in the second quarter.
that would be crazy, and I would love to watch that with you and Spencer by my side as y'all are borderline tears.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So that
But we'll see the Nuggets.
yeah, Lakers got
Celtics.
the Clippers tonight. Last thing before we go, how about that trade? Give me your thoughts, and what does this mean for the NBA?
Well, the Clippers got fleeced in that trade. Sixers got better. Sixers got a ball hog off their team, and the Clippers got a ball hog onto their team. I don't know. I think it's a bad move for the Clippers, to be honest with you, because I don't think it works.
Yeah,
I think that you have 4 guys who need the ball. Harden's not going to come off the bench. Harden's already said he wants a scoring title. I don't know. I think that's going to mess up the feng shui of the team if they had any. And so yeah, we'll see what happens. I will be watching for sure, because it's going to be crazy if we see Kawhi, Paul George, Russ, and Harden on the court at the same time.
It's happening tonight.
That's going to be really weird.
I think
But yeah,
I think Harden's good for tonight. Oh no, he is out. Okay. Injury report. Him and Tucker's not out. Tucker might play tonight. Harden's not playing tonight.
maybe the Clippers will just alternate their stars every game.
It's not going to work.
One night it's going to be Paul George and Kawhi, and then the next night they have off and it's going to be Russ and Harden, and then they'll just keep going on like that.
It's not going to work, I'm telling you.
No, it's not going to work.
I mean, it's just, why make the move? You don't get better on defense. You really don't get better on offense because, like you said, now you have another ball hog on the team. You already have 3, and Harden's not even the best scorer on the team anymore because he's not. I don't think he's elite. He's an elite scorer anymore. He's very inefficient at times. It's Paul George and Kawhi Leonard are the two of the better scorers in basketball still, and the fact that you just added someone who's going to take volume away from them. It made no sense to me. Yeah. It was fun because we're going to watch another super team fail. And it just proves that super teams don't work unless you're Kevin Durant and the Golden State Warriors. So that's just because, I mean, you're playing with winners in there. I mean, the only winner on that Clippers team is Kawhi Leonard. So maybe Kawhi takes a step back, but Paul George and Russell Westbrook won't. They don't know.
No.
So we'll see where they go. We'll see where they go from here. Last thing I want to do, so quick segment, and we'll have Ryan's rants next week. So Ryan, get pissed about something.
I'll take the week off.
Yeah, get upset about something.
It doesn't take much.
Well, especially with the journeys you'll be on in the next few days, I'm sure you'll have something. And yes, wish Ryan luck. He is going on an adventure. I won't say where, but yeah, so you have fun there. This segment is titled Gold Glove, my Golden Glove Award. Now, it's not baseball like you think it is. Go Diamondbacks, by the way. It's not baseball. It's just play on words because my last name is Glover. So my Golden Glove Award will be to a individual or a team who had one of the better performances over the last week. So I'll go first. My Golden Glove Award goes to the San Antonio Spurs against the Phoenix Suns last night. Now, I discussed this with Ryan earlier, and he hated it. But let me tell you why I said that. And the reason why is because this is the youngest team in basketball, one of the younger teams in NBA history, really. You're starting 3 guys under the age of 22. So the fact they got down by 25 plus against Kevin Durant, I know Booker and Beal were out, but it's still Kevin Durant. The fact they were down by 25 plus halfway within the third quarter, they were able to, and this is really props to Popovich, just letting them play. They were able to crawl back into that game and win the game, and they led for 2 seconds the whole game, and it was the final 2 seconds. So the fact that they were able to keep their nose to the grindstone, tough it out, play together, through 4 quarters entirely, which is what I love. The Spurs did not play 4-quarter basketball last year. They played 2 and died every single game. So the fact they're playing all 4 quarters this time is really, really encouraging if you're a Spurs fan like myself. So that is my Gold Glove Award for the week. Ryan, what are your thoughts? I know you don't agree with me, but go ahead.
Well, I didn't agree with you, and I still don't necessarily, but the comeback, yeah, they finished the game under dubious circumstances, but they finished the game. And so I'm okay with it. They're a young team. They're not a good team. The defense is terrible. Zach Collins sucks. And you let Yusuf Nurkic and Grayson Allen cook you. So that's not winning basketball. But they hung in there. You know, obviously, Suns had some stars out, but hung in there, ended up winning the game, and they led when it mattered, which is at the very end. So I've lightened up. I'm okay with that.
Thank you, bro. Thank you for understanding. Ryan, do you have a Gold Glove Award? We'll make it real quick.
Yeah, really just the Celtics, because Unlike last year, the Celtics look like they actually want to win and they're interested in winning. And that team has the talent to win everything, obviously. We know this. But they're playing really well together. And I really see the chemistry coming together. Mazzulla looks like he's starting to find his groove as a coach, which, last year he was thrown into an impossible situation. So for doing what they should be doing and taking care of business, I'm going to give them my Gold Glove.
There you go. I love it. Well, all right. I will wrap it up. We have places to be, things to do. So, as everyone else does. 50 minutes, another long episode. Sorry, we love to talk sports. You know what we do. Thanks for all the support on all of our socials. We're getting over 10,000 views now on YouTube. We have a plethora of views on other platforms. We appreciate the support. Share it to your friends if you like our podcast. Any type of sharing helps. And so, with that being said, I've been your host, Will Glover, along with our other co-host, Ryan Galloway. This has been the Thank You Bro podcast, week 12, week 11 episode. I don't know. I never keep track. So, with that being said, y'all have a great rest of your week and go Diamondbacks. We'll see y'all.